I live on a quiet corner lot where my driveway curves off the main road. It's clearly marked, clearly private, and clearly not a parking space, at least, it should be. But the moment Karen moved in across the street, all common sense seemed to evaporate. She started parking her white SUV right across my driveway like it belonged to her. At first, I assumed it was a mistake. I left a polite note. The next day, it happened again. I knocked on her door, smiled, and explained calmly that it was my driveway. She crossed her arms, smirked, and said, "It's just for a little while. You don't own the street." From then on, it became routine. Morning meetings delayed, groceries melting in my car, me waiting outside my own house while Karen took her sweet time. Every time I confronted her, she had a new excuse: guests, deliveries, emergencies. One time she even said, "Everyone around here does it." Spoiler: no one did. The HOA was useless. They told me to work it out like neighbors. Karen heard about that and started parking there on purpose, sometimes waving at me from her porch while I stood trapped. After 3 months of this nonsense, I stopped arguing. I stopped leaving notes. I stopped explaining. Instead, I started planning. I hired a licensed installer and had an automatic boom gate installed at the entrance of my driveway, legal, permitted, and tied to a remote and motion sensor. It was sleek, quiet, and very obvious. I even put reflective warning signs on it. The installer asked if I'd had problems before. I just smiled and said, "You could say that." The gate went up on a Friday. That Saturday evening, Karen decided to throw a loud neighborhood party. Cars lined the street, music blasted, laughter echoed, and right on schedule, Karen's white SUV rolled confidently into my driveway like it always did. She parked, locked it, and walked off, completely ignoring the massive new boom gate standing behind her car. I watched from my window, remote in hand, heart pounding. The gate hadn't even been activated yet. I waited. 10 minutes later, as her guests were arriving and filming TikToks in the street, the boom gate automatically lowered into place behind her SUV with a smooth, mechanical click. Locked in. Part 2. At first, no one noticed. The party went on. Drinks flowed. Music got louder. Then, about an hour in, Karen came marching toward her car, keys in hand, heels clicking with authority. She pressed the unlock button and pulled the driver's door, then froze. Her smile vanished. She turned around slowly and stared at the boom gate like it had personally betrayed her. She rattled it. She pushed it. Nothing. People started watching. Someone laughed. Karen stormed across the street and banged on my door like she was serving a warrant. When I opened it, she exploded. "You trapped my car. This is illegal. Open it now." I calmly stepped outside and pointed at the signs. "Private driveway. Automatic gate. Trespassing enforced." I explained, very politely, that the gate activates when unauthorized vehicles remain on my property. She yelled that she had guests, that she was hosting a party, that she needed to park there. I asked one simple question: "Did I give you permission?" She went silent. Karen called the HOA. They didn't come. She called a tow company. They refused. Private property, no access. Then she called the police. When the officer arrived, he checked the permits, inspected the installation, and asked Karen why her vehicle was parked on land she didn't own. The crowd had gone quiet by then. Phones were out. Faces were lit with anticipation. The officer turned to me and nodded. "Everything here is legal." Then he turned back to Karen and said, "You'll need the property owner to release the gate." Karen looked at me like she was swallowing glass. She lowered her voice and muttered, "Please." That was the first time she'd ever said that word to me. I opened the gate, slowly, while her guests watched in stunned silence. No applause. No music. Just the sound of her SUV starting up and peeling away in embarrassment. She never parked in my driveway again. The boom gate stayed. The peace returned. And every time I drive home and see that clear, empty driveway, I smile. Because sometimes, the best revenge isn't loud, it's automatic.